Petco Park, a new beginning, let's go. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padre gang. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Mitchell and Ness with the old school name. All of the homies holler Padre gang. Yeah, that.
Good day, everybody. Welcome to the Talking Friars pregame show for August 20th, 2022. I'm your host, Ben Fadden. Padres and the Nationals get underway today at 5:40. These last two games have been rough. You're facing a team that has like double the amount of losses compared to the amount of wins that they have, and you can't win these games, and you're supposed to be this World Series contender. It's been a tough watch. Josh Hader, he's been very disappointing as a Padre so far. And there was news today that he is now no longer the closer, at least for now. And they're going to be going to more of a closer by committee type thing. Sure sounds a whole lot like what they did with Taylor Rogers before he was traded. So that's obviously not what you want. If I would have told myself when the Padres got Hader that a couple weeks later he wouldn't be the closer and he'd have to be figuring some stuff out, I don't know if I would believe that. I would have probably laughed at myself if I said that. But that's exactly what has happened. Last night, throwing the ball into right field, giving up the home run to a guy that's never hit a home run before in the big leagues. Just it sucks. The offense, yeah, there were situations there where they could have come through. But last night, I mean, I know he came in a tie game, but still, that's what we got him for, and he didn't come through. Again, back-to-back nights. Bob Melvin, he gave him that chance. He gave him a second chance, and he blew the second chance, and so now he doesn't deserve to be the closer right now. Um, as for today, who would be that closer? I don't know. Uh, I would think that Adrian Morahone would be slotted to pitch some 7th, 8th, or ninth inning role, one of those 3 innings. Nabil Crismatt as well. I don't know how comfortable they are in having Steven Wilson pitch in those big situations. I'm not saying Steven Wilson would be the closer, but I would first look at like Luis Garcia threw 11 pitches last night. I would look at Adrian Morahone. Those are 2. Robert Suarez, I really loved what I saw out of him throwing 99 miles an hour last night with his fastball. So those, I think, are some options. Nick Martinez, um, I mean, I like him as a closer, but I don't think that the Padres would want him to be like the closer right now. I feel like they like him as someone who is able to pitch in multiple roles. Sometimes he can pitch multiple innings, or he'll come in and pitch the 7th inning. Just it just doesn't feel like he's a ninth inning guy, if that makes sense. Like I'd be fine trying it, but would he be more effective in another situation? And that's what Bob Melvin said. He was talking about the matchups and how it's going to be about the matchups. And so if there's some hitters with scouting reports and we know that, oh, they don't hit the changeup well, then that's where you put Nick Martinez in, right? So that's something to watch for going into tonight's game. Musgrove on the mound for the Padres, Josiah Gray on the mound for the Nationals. Nationals 41-80, Padres 66-56. Bally Sports San Diego 97.3 The Fan. It's the TV radio thing this weekend is a little mixed up because Don's on national TV, Mud is on the radio. I was at the game last night, so I don't know who's on TV. I think it's Jesse. It would be Jesse, and I think it's Sweeney, and then Mud and Scanlon are on radio. So yeah, maybe I do know who's on TV and radio. So that's what it is right now. With the bullpen situation, we already kind of talked about that. Hader, Garcia, Martinez, Hill, Suarez, they all threw last night. Matt, Morahone, Wilson have had, all 3 of them have had at least 2 days off. And Josiah Gray for the Nationals, he was acquired, I believe, in that Dodgers trade, the Scherzer Trey Turner deal, at last year's trade deadline. And he's been up and down this year in terms of his production. 6 innings, 3 runs. In his last start, that was against the Cubs. He's worked into the 6th inning a good amount of times this year, but it doesn't look like he has gone through 7. He hasn't. Or no, he has. He's gotten through 7 once at Texas this year. But it feels like he's going to be someone that's going to give the Nationals 5, 6+ innings. And then the Padres will be able to get to the bullpen. It also does look like, pitch count wise, he's gotten over 100 pitches a good amount of times this year. So it's not like they're babying him or, when he gets to 90 pitches, he's out of there, right? He's gone over 100 pitches. And then with Joe, excuse me. So he's just working his way back to being the guy that he was for the majority of the season. You know, um, he had that bad 4, 5 start stretch from when was that? I think June 23rd. Gave up 6 runs there against Philly, and then all the way to like August 4th, where he gave up 6 runs to the Rockies. There were some good starts in there. No runs against the Giants, 2 runs against the Twins. But these last 2 starts, I think he's looked pretty good. 6 and 8 hits respectively. 1 run he gave up on the 9th last start against Miami. He gave up 3 earned runs. I don't know if all of those runs should be earned on him because remember that was the game where Profar was a little lazy with his throw, tried to get Kim to be the cutoff man going from second to third, and he just threw the ball in late, and that was his fault. And then he gave up a single that wouldn't have scored the guy from second. He gave up that single to Stallings, and the third run scored there. He got out of the inning after that. So I don't know if he could have, or I don't know if he should have allowed 3 runs there, probably 2. But I think he's looked better these last 2 starts. So that's definitely encouraging for the Padres. And I already kind of talked about what to watch for is in this game. The big one for me is who would they go with, as the new closer. And it's not going to be permanent. If you listen to Bob Melvin's comments today, he was like, no, they're going to give Josh few outings, however long it takes for Josh to find it again and for him to go back into that closer spot. So don't expect this to be something where, Luis Garcia is the closer. Okay, he's going to be the closer the rest of the year. That's not the kind of vibe I was getting from Bomel when he was talking to the media earlier today. Juan Soto did his on base streak. He got on base last night, I believe. Because going into last night, I think he had a 21 on base or 22 game on base streak. Did he walk last night? Let me double check that real quick. Because I know he didn't get a hit. Yeah, he walked. Okay, so he still has that on base streak intact. His career high, his longest career on base streak is 27 games. And so he's getting closer and closer and closer to that. So that's something to watch for. My Padre pick today is Manny. Last night it was Manny, so I'm 77-40 this season so far in my pregame show Padre pick. Manny's the one that you're going to pick. That's the guy I'm going to pick until he doesn't get a hit. I think he has an 11 game hit streak now, 12 game hit streak. Almost hit a bomb last night. That double off the wall tied the game, and then obviously Padres lost 6-3. Hader blew it. We all know the story. I'll get more into that game in my series reaction after tomorrow's game. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. The Padres, after last night, I think they were still a game up on the Brewers for the wild card. Oh, lineups, duh. So Padres today. So Mazzara was sent down. He was DFA'd. Jose Zokar is brought up. Some people thought Eggy Rosario should be up. Some people thought that it should be like Camposano or Jose Castillo. But you got to realize they sent down an outfielder, so they're going to bring up an outfielder. And so Zokar, that's kind of the guy that they would. That's like their main option to bring up. yeah, Azokar doesn't have power. Maybe you want power off the bench. Azokar is not a lefty. Maybe you want a lefty off the bench. And Azokar, he's feels like he's like a pinch runner. Like if Azokar's up at the plate, the other team's not worried, right? He had a couple good moments earlier this year. He had the walk off. I remember that. But he's known for his speed, defense. Feels like a Manuel Margot type guy. Um, so that's not a big move, obviously. With Jose Castillo, they obviously weren't going to bring him up because they're not going to bring up a reliever and send down a position player because now your bench isn't uh just body wise, number of bodies, it's just not as much. Um, they want a certain number on the bench. So that wasn't an option, but, I mean, Castillo, he struck out 6 guys in his 2 innings of work the other night with El Paso. His ERA is under 3 there, and we know El Paso, it's very or much easier to hit there than it is, at the big league level or probably in, like, Double A, just because of where they play. I I I wanna see Jose Castillo up here. Who is that the Padres would send down? I mean, Steven Wilson, maybe he's an option. Uh, is Matthew Batten still on this team? On MLB.com, it says Matthew Batten's still on the roster, and they have a Zokar up here, so I think that's accurate. So, uh, yeah, Matthew Batten, it's like I know they need him because of for bodies, right, to be a backup infielder, but he's not playing at all. I want to see Jose Castillo. I'm just trying to find ways that we can see Jose Castillo. It would be a reliever. So if an injury happens, then maybe Castillo gets brought up. But I feel like we've been saying that for months now, and it hasn't happened. So I'm not holding my hope. I'm not keeping my hopes up, for Castillo to come up, to be honest. And then the Nationals, their lineup, or I got to go with the Padres lineup first. Profar is in left, Soto's in right. Manny's at third. Drury is hitting cleanup. He's at first. Crony's at second. Josh Bell's DHing, batting sixth. So he was batting fourth, a week ago. Now he's down to sixth. Kim is at short, batting seventh. Grisham's in center, batting eighth. Nola is catching and batting ninth. Pretty expected in terms of this lineup. Uh, I'm kind of encouraged what I'm seeing out of Grisham. Obviously, he's been really good laying down bunts, and hey, if that gets you on base, it gets you on base. With Josh, I mean, he didn't start last night. I just want him to get mentally right. Like, I've been talking about this, but I said this yesterday during before the game. His practice swings, he's trying to emphasize going down at the ball, and for me, that's like, can we change that a little bit? Like, because he's hitting a lot of ground balls. Um, the first at bat that he had, I think, the pinch hit at bat, he grounded out the first, and it just feels like he's not like fully swinging, like he's kind of closing off his swing. I'm obviously not Michael Bedar. I'm not a hitting coach. I'm not Ryan Flaherty or whatever. So they know more than me, obviously, but it just feels like watching him that his swing's a little closed off, if you know what I'm saying. So maybe he's gonna try to tweak some of that to get out of this rut. Because going into, I think yesterday he was like 1 for 30 in his last 30 at bats. So it's not pretty. Any questions? I'll go through the comments here. Yeah, watch they win tonight. You're right. Watch they win tonight because you didn't make it to the game. Yeah, I went Thursday. They lost. Hater wasn't good. Balls all over the place. And then I went yesterday. Things were looking good. Tie game, and they lost. So yeah, maybe they win today. I'm going tomorrow, so if they win today and then they lose tomorrow, then maybe it's me. I don't know. Desert Punk says, at this point, what could be causing this performance? Feels like 2021. I mean, yeah, people are going to say it feels like 2021. But the thing is, like, this roster is better than last year's roster. Like, this rotation's better than last year's rotation. They have Josh Hader. They have Juan Soto in their lineup. I know they don't have Tatis, but they have Soto in their lineup. Josh Bell, Brandon Drury, all of these additions, they're just not living up to what we expected them to be. That's the difference, I think, and that's why people are asking, "Oh my gosh, this team's supposed to be better. They were supposed to get better at the deadline, but they actually got worse. How is that?" Well, they would be better if the players they acquired, Josh Bell, uh, Josh Hader, if those guys perform better, then they would have been a better team compared to before they made these additions. So, to me, it's just about them being better. There's other guys in the lineup too that need to be better. Um, but mainly, we're going to focus on the guys that we got at that before the trade deadline, and that's the difference for me. Is those guys just need to play better, and this team will obviously be better, and this team will look like a better team than it was before the trade deadline. And yeah, you ask, is it mental? I think he even admitted that to the media that it's been a little mental for him. So yeah, that could be the case. Um, with Josh Hader though, he said to the media, I mean, it would be nice if fans were on my side, but I just go and try to do my job. So I don't know if it's mental for him. He just needs to pitch better. He needs to locate. He's not doing that. The fastball velocity's there. He needs to not throw two seamers past Josh Bell into right field. Stuff like that. Just need to play better. That's what it is. All right. I think that's gonna do it. Talking Friars pregame show, August 20th, 2022. Padres Nationals 5:40 is the first pitch. I'll talk to you guys later. Keep the faith. Just go 1-0. That should be the team's mentality. Go Padres, and I'll see you later.